Tonight, the pursuit begins. In the West, Portland blazed a trail to the NBA's best record. Clyde Drexler and company await Friday's opener against Shawn Kemp and the Sonics. In San Antonio, the Admiral directed the Spurs to the Midwest Division crown and the #2 seeding. Their first test, that high-scoring bunch from the Bay Area, Golden State. For Utah and the Mailman, it came down to the regular season finale. A loss dropped the Jazz to #5 in the West and put them on the road to Phoenix, where the banged-up Suns are well down the road to recovery. In the East, Detroit, bolstered by the return of Isaiah Thomas, begins another title quest Friday against the up-and-down Atlanta Hawks. Question marks abound in Boston, where the Celtics hope Larry Bird can answer the bell after another round of back problems. The Pacers hit the parquet Friday night looking for a first-round upset. Charles Barkley, rebounding from a late-season knee injury, leads the Sixers into Milwaukee. The Bucks were 33-8 at home, one of those losses to Philly. Tonight here on TNT, an opening night doubleheader. Game 1, Michael Jordan and the Bulls, boasting the best record in the East, welcome Patrick Ewing and the Knicks to Chicago Stadium, amid reports out of New York that John McCloud will be gone at season's end. And later we head west to the lights of L.A., where Magic leads the Lakers in their 15th straight playoff appearance against Houston. The Rockets have the best record in the West since the All-Star break. Hakeem and his mates hope to make the Lakers see stars. This ain't shirts and skins, folks. It's the NBA playoffs on TNT. And so the table is set for an NBA playoff feast here on TNT. Good evening, everybody. Ernie Johnson in Atlanta. And over the next 30 days, we will be here taking you from the best-of-5 opening round series to the best-of-7 conference finals. In the next 7 days, we'll bring you 6 doubleheaders, starting with the Chicago Bulls and New York Knicks from Chicago Stadium in just a couple of minutes, followed by the Lakers and Rockets from the Great Western Forum. And, of course, we'll keep you updated on other action with bonus coverage as we take you live to the sites of other first-round games. Here in the studio, I'll be joined by a number of NBA experts. Lenny Wilkins next week, Matt Gukas this weekend, and on these first 2 nights, it is our pleasure to welcome Hall of Famer Rick Barry. No time for small talk either. Who's going to survive this thing in the East and West?
Well, right now you'd have to go with Portland and then perhaps with Chicago, but I wouldn't count on it.
A pretty dangerous road there in the Western Conference. A lot of talented teams.
Well, there certainly are. A lot of talent on both the Blazers and the Sonics individually, but I think the Blazers have the better team. The Suns and the Jazz, it's a health situation there. If Kevin Johnson, Tom Chambers, and Dan Marley are healthy, I think the Suns will prevail. The Jazz don't win well on the road. Spurs and the Warriors, David Robinson has to be contended with. The Warriors must rebound, and TMC must score and shoot the ball well. The Lakers and the Rockets, I like the experience, and I like the defense of the Lakers. The Rockets may have peaked just a little bit too soon back in March.
How far will the Chicago Bulls go in the Eastern Conference? You think all the way?
Well, I think they'll go to the finals against the Detroit Pistons. They shouldn't have a very difficult time with the Knicks. They're just a better basketball team, better athletes. The Knicks are hurting. Their best athlete, Gerald Wilkins, just coming off an injury. Bucks and the 76ers, that will be the good, the bad, and it will get ugly. And it's going to be up to Charles Barkley to be the difference, I think, in that particular series. Celtics and the Pacers, injuries again. Bird, his back. Lewis, his back. Also the ankle of McHale. If they're healthy, they can win. If not, the Pacers can give them problems. They beat them 3-1 last season. The Pacers are looking for an upset. Pistons and the Hawks, I just think the Pistons are a better basketball team. They will beat the Hawks, and as long as the Pistons can keep alive and Isaiah stays healthy, they're going to get better. And when they get to the finals in the East against Chicago, it's going to be great to see them go at it for the 3rd time in a row.
Rick Barry here in the studio with us. They played 1,107 regular season games to get to this point. The NBA playoffs begin with the Knicks and Bulls straight ahead on TNT.
The Chicago Bulls need 11 victories to reach the NBA Finals, and tonight a crowd of over 16,000 have come to 62-year-old Chicago Stadium to see if the hometown Bulls can start on the right foot. Tonight, they take on the New York Knicks. Hello, everybody. I'm Ron Thulin. Glad you can be with us tonight for the first of 2 this evening, the first of 8 NBA playoff games in the next 4 days. Now, the New York Knicks come in with their hands full this evening. The deck is almost stacked against them. They have been in the center of turmoil all year long. The big controversy now is obviously whether or not their head coach, John McCloud, will be back next year. John McCloud says he has nothing to prove, and his team is ready to play. Jack Gibbons, my broadcast partner, the fact you are playing the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference, and you're not that good of a basketball team, but you still have that power player.
I think you're right, and what you must do in a 5-game series is to make sure that your star player is involved and keep him involved. And, of course, for the Knicks, the star player is Patrick Ewing. You see his numbers, 26, just about 27 points on the season. But when he meets the Bulls, things start to happen. See right here, 20 points a game is all he can get and just under 10 rebounds. Patrick must make sure that he is involved. When they double team, he has to kick the ball out. The Knicks must make the outside shot.
Well, Phil Jackson and the Chicago Bulls had 3 major goals this year. First, win the division. Second, have the best record in the Eastern Conference, and obviously reach the NBA Finals. 2 of the 3 goals have already been attained, and they've done it with Michael Jordan not quite getting the numbers he's been accustomed to.
Well, I tell you, the only knock on Michael has been the fact that he hasn't made the players around him better, as indicated by the Bulls' record this year, and the fact that his numbers have dropped somewhat. You can tell that he is doing just that. And of course, one guy that really benefits from all of Michael's attention is Scottie Pippen. Scottie has put up a lot of good numbers. He likes to put the ball on the floor. You have to force him left and make sure he gives the ball up.
Well, the bottom line is Chicago is going to push it. New York wants to slow it down. New York was winless against Chicago this year. In fact, New York has lost the last 7 against Chicago. Up next, the Bulls and the Knicks from Chicago.
The 1991 NBA playoffs.
Welcome back to Chicago Stadium, where we are set for the New York Knicks taking on the Chicago Bulls. Now let's go to Chicago Stadium. Public address announcer Ray Clay for this evening's starting lineups.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The Chicago Bulls welcome the world's greatest fans to the Chicago Stadium, the noisiest arena in the NBA. I'm Ray Clay, and tonight's NBA playoff game is between the New York Knicks and your Chicago Bulls. Now for tonight's lineups. First for the visiting New York Knicks. At forward from Virginia Union, 6'9", Charles Oakley. From UCLA at forward, 6'8", Kiki Vandeweghe. At center from Georgetown, 7 foot, Patrick Ewing. A 6'1" guard from West Texas State, Maurice Cheeks. A guard from Minnesota, 6'5", Trent Tucker. The New York Knicks are coached by John McLeod.
Speaks for itself. I don't have to prove anything. Phil Jackson reaching 100 wins faster than any other Chicago Bulls coach. 116-47 is the ledger on Phil Jackson, and we are set for the opening tip-off. Now, John McLeod told us this morning, Jack Givens, that there were a couple of things that he really wanted to key on, and that he told his team over and over again that they had to be careful.
Well, he said it's interesting when the Knicks play Chicago, because Chicago scores more points off their defense than they do when they're on offense. And of course, the thing that you must do is make sure that you handle the press, eliminate those turnovers, slow the game down, and make sure that you slow the Bulls down. The Bulls like to shoot it with 8 seconds or so gone off the shot clock. You'll see the Knicks try to shoot it with maybe 2 or 3 seconds left on the shot clock to take as much time and work as hard as they possibly can to get the good shot.
A veteran officiating crew of Jess Kersey, Nolan Fine, and Wally Rooney will be blowing the whistles this evening, and we are just about set. It'll be Cartwright and Ewing. No love lost between these two players, and Patrick Ewing controls with Trent Tucker. And he is in the starting lineup. Gerald Wilkins missed the last couple of weeks, 3 weeks. Now with that ankle injury, Tucker took over the starting position and has held it ever since.
Cartwright and Ewing really like to battle down low. They push around a lot. Cartwright does an excellent job against Ewing. That's one reason why those numbers have been down this year.
First turnover of the ball game coming at 11:31. Ron Thulin, Jack Givens with you from Chicago Stadium. Ernie Johnson along with Rick Berry in our studios. And of course, we have a second game coming up here tonight on TNT. So buckle the seatbelts. A lot of basketball the next 4 days. Ball tip, 13 on the shot clock. It belongs to the Knicks.
It's interesting that the Knicks, the first 2 times down, have gone to Oakley to try to get him involved in the offense. Look, though, for them to try as hard as possible to get Ewing a shot here before long.
For Chicago wearing the all-black sneakers for the playoffs, as has been their custom their past couple of years. And it is Cheeks, the veteran, on Paxson. Had 6 on the shot clock, had some time. 3 on the shot clock. Cheeks lets it go, and we have the first 2 points of the best of 5 series between the Knicks and the Bulls. Now the matchup will be Van Noy on Pippen. Jordan being guarded by Trent Tucker, and Tucker laughed when we asked him about the matchup today. He says, who else will I cover?
He understands, though, that he must get help. I think the Knicks as a team understand that you have to help out on Michael.
Michael misses the shot. The Bulls crash the board. They're the better of the two rebounding teams. So we have our first foul of the ball game. That'll be on Trent Tucker, his first personal. This season, the Bulls have won all four, as we mentioned at the top of the show. In the last game, Bill Cartwright came up with 2 steals in the final 11 seconds to seal that Chicago win. John McCloud says, hey, we've been close to these guys all 4 games. We've had a chance to win it. Pippen's shot won't go down. Ewing battles. Oakley gets the rebound. Oakley 3rd in the NBA in that category.
Oakley does a good job on the offensive boards as well.
Ewing on Cartwright. And that'll be a blocking foul on Cartwright. Cartwright's used to getting Patrick Ewing in foul trouble early in the 4 meetings between these two teams. Remember that 3rd meeting of the year, New York led by as many as 24, only to have that lead disappear. Tucker's shot will go down. Good hustle by Oakley. Despite the fact you have 2 of the best rebounders, New York is not a good rebounding team. No basket. That is a traveling call.
But still, that's going to be a matchup we'll have to watch here tonight, that matchup between Ewing and Cartwright. They do a lot of pushing. Ewing that time might have gotten away with the forearm. That's why the officials were a little bit quicker to call the travel in that situation.
Chicago going into their triple post offense as designed in 1962 by Tex Winter. Cartwright just takes it away from Oakley.
Well, that's an area of the game that the Knicks must really concentrate on, and that is keeping Chicago off the offensive boards, in particular Grant and Pippen.
Oakley from way outside, and he rolls it around. Well, after it took Chicago some 2:14 to get their first 2 points in the ball game, the Knicks go back up by 2. Jordan has the double team now. Tucker trying to get the loose ball. Jordan has it. Paxson with 10 on the shot clock. Jordan just out hustling Charles Oakley for the rebound.
As I mentioned, Chicago, an excellent offensive rebounding team, and of course Jordan at his size, you'll see him down there a lot. Jordan averaging 6 rebounds a game, but Grant and Pippen usually are the ones that hurt you on the offensive boards.
Michael Jordan, 5th straight NBA scoring title, the 2nd to accomplish that. Wilt Chamberlain, of course, with 7 straight scoring crowns. The numbers on Michael Jordan, 3 tonight for Jordan, and the Bulls have 3. Jordan for the year 31.5, but his playoff average in his career 35.8. Talk about elevating his game, including a couple of consecutive 50-point games in a series against Cleveland.
Now he had that one game where he had 63 points. That's a playoff record.
The 1986 versus Boston. Tied up at 4, 9 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Sheets gets away from Paxson, takes it all the way to the hole, doesn't get it, but Oakley is there for the tip.
Well, we talked about the Bulls going to the offensive boards. I mentioned Oakley, 304 offensive rebounds on the season, so that's something that you'll see him doing a lot tonight.
Cartwright in the left block, Ewing on him. Grant. Chicago having trouble finding a range with just about 8.5 remaining in the first. They are now just 1 of 7. Now Ewing is fronted by Cartwright. Cartwright battling for position. Ewing would rather be on the left side of the floor. Baseline high archer goes down.
That's a shot the Bulls would like to see Patrick shoot, and he is more effective when he catches it down low and takes it to the basket.
Well, you're going to hear this crowd very loud tonight after what happened to the Chicago Blackhawks being eliminated in the Stanley Cup playoffs as Horace Grant gets his first 2. In fact, Phil Jackson said that is one of the points he has brought up to his club. Hey, the Blackhawks had the best record in the NHL. They were ousted. Let's not have the same happen to us.
I think you must point those things out to your team. That's a good example right here close to home for Chicago. That should serve as incentive for them to be up for this series.
Two times down the court, Cheeks has found the lane wide open. This time he connects. He has 4. Pippen down the other end. Patrick Ewing says, here's a souvenir for the fans. And he stepped out. Ball belongs to the Bulls. Ewing 3rd in blocks this year. John McLeod knows you can't let Scottie Pippen take it into the paint like that.
Well, I'll tell you, it was nice to see Pippen, though, push the ball down the floor.
Now Nolan Fine says, wait a minute. There was really not a change of possession. There should be some time off the shot clock. Nolan will walk over along with Jess Kersey and try to figure it out with the scores table with 7:38 left to be played in the first quarter. The Knicks by 4, 10-6. Of course, New York, all the players we're talking about today in practice that, hey, let's not worry about the record. Remember what we did to Boston last year, and they have the home court advantage.
Well, any positive that you can point out at this time of the year you have to use in that series against Boston last season. Definitely a plus for the Knicks.
Tucker, the three-point threat, 2nd in the NBA in that category. He doesn't get his first. And here comes Pippen on the break. This is what John McLeod did not want to happen.
Well, it's such a luxury to have Pippen at 6'7", 6'8", who can get the rebound and then lead the fast break. And you see Trent Tucker, he tried to get out of the way, but gave him just enough body to let him know that this is in fact the playoffs, and it's not going to be easy when you take the ball to the basket. It'd be interesting to see the first time Michael Jordan gets open and takes it in there, because one thing that the Knicks really talked about was making Michael work on defense, and when he brings the ball to the basket, make sure that he knows he's not going to get anything easy.
Horace Grant says his high school friends thought he wouldn't amount to anything, so this is even more satisfying being in this position as he hits both free throws. Chicago now 4 of 4 from the charity stripe, and they trail the Knicks by 2. 7:10 left in the first. Vandeweghe left open, gets away from Pippen. Shot won't go down. Cloud said he hopes Vandeweghe hits a hot streak because he's almost unstoppable when he does get out. Ewing and Cartwright. Ewing slapping the ball, and he's going to be called for his first personal foul.
Chicago.
So as Patrick Ewing picks up his first personal foul, 6:50 remaining in the first quarter, the Knicks lead the Bulls by 2. We'll be back. This program is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the National Basketball Association solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the National Basketball Association is prohibited. 10-8 is our score. Here's Patrick Ewing.
The Knicks have been able to get the ball to Patrick. You'll see him right here. He's going to take a step away from the basket. That is what Chicago wants him to do. They would like to have a little more pressure from Cartwright in that situation. This is something they don't want to happen, and that is Cheeks taking the ball to the basket. Cheeks on the season averaged just under 8 points a game, but in the playoffs he has an average of right at 15 points a game, and I look for Maurice Cheeks to elevate his game here and enjoy a good season, a good series.
All right, a 70% free throw shooter. The Bulls have not led in this game, only 2 of 10 from the floor. And Bill Cartwright will have a chance to knot it up. It'll be the 3rd tie of the contest. Six points for Chicago from the free throw line. Here comes the fireman's drill press, Chicago calls it. Now they back off. They like doing that out of timeouts and at the change of quarters. And the way baseline throws up the shot won't go down, and we've got a foul.
Kiki Vandeweghe didn't make his first shot from the outside. I thought he shot it just a little quick. That time he used the screen of Ewing down low very well, put the ball on the floor, and picked up an opportunity to get to the free throw line.
At the free throw line, it'll be Kiki Vandeweghe as Cartwright picked up his 2nd personal foul. Trent Tucker with 2 fouls for the Knicks. Vandeweghe 90% on the year, averaging 16 points a ball game. He has played in 75 games this year. Considering the last 3 years, he's played in only 37, 45, and 22 ball games. This is quite a season for Kiki Vandeweghe to stay healthy.
That was the main thing for Kiki coming into this season. They wanted to get a maximum effort out of him, but they wanted him to stay healthy. He has been able to do that and has helped the Knicks this season.
Tucker trying to stay on Jordan. Does a pretty good job defensively. Ewing with the rebound. Fifth in the NBA in rebounding. Now Patrick and Cartwright again. Cartwright really leaning on Ewing on the left block. Tucker for three, doesn't get it. 0 for 2 from three-point land. Ball belongs to Chicago with 6:02 left in the first.
Well, that shot by Tucker from the corner, a good shot, but that's the shot the Knicks must make here, because you know when Patrick catches the ball down low, the Bulls will double team and in some cases triple team to make sure Patrick gets the shot up. Those outside shots are not going. The Bulls will continue to play that way.
Tucker now 0 for 3 overall. Pippen in the paint, turn around over Vanderway. We are tied up at 12, the fourth tie in the ball game. And now Grant on Oakley. Oakley trying to set the screen. Pippen almost with the steal. Ball loose on the floor. Nobody wants it. Now here comes Jordan. Watch this. Now you've got the crowd in the ball game. That is another thing that the Knicks could not afford to have happen. The Bulls with their first lead at 14-12. Cheeks again to the paint. To Paxson, to the hole. Goaltending.
Well, you mentioned this crowd, and of course everyone around the NBA knows that this building, when it gets going, one of the loudest buildings in the NBA. The Knicks need to come down right now and score a basket and take this crowd out of it some.
It is a 4-point lead, and John McLeod says the 6-0 run by Chicago is enough. We need to talk about it. 4:54 left in the first quarter. The Bulls have the lead to the delight of the crowd in the stadium.
Let's continue to do that. Patrick Ewing got a hand on it. The goaltending call was made, and Chicago, with this crowd going, very, very excited right now.
Oh, yes. And neither team can hear the whistle of Jess Kersey to come out on the floor. Listen to the crowd. It is extremely loud, to say the least, in this building. That young man just won $1,000 by hitting 4 shots from the outside. And I'm sure John McLeod right now could go for a couple of those shots from the outside to quiet 16,000 plus in the stadium.
I tell you, during timeouts is a real good opportunity to get the crowd involved, in a situation like that is one that this crowd needs to make sure that they stay in this game.
Chicago's got it. Well, the Bulls healthier than any team probably in the NBA, which has been a key for their success this year. Cartwright looking to see where his teammates are. The fall away.
It's real tough on a coach when you come out of a timeout situation and you don't get a good shot. The Knicks turn the ball over, and here it is. Almost turned it over again.
Wilkins is in the lineup for Tucker as Vandeweghe forces his way in. But he's able to draw the foul with 4:14 showing on the clock.
You mentioned Wilkins, Gerald Wilkins, checking into the game during that timeout. Wilkins, of course, missed all those games right at the end of the season, but he says he does feel good. Of course, conditioning is the real problem right now.
That's tough when you sit out 3 weeks.
Well, it is, especially when the guy you guarding is Michael Jordan. The fact that he has been playing and closed out the season playing very well, it makes it even more difficult.
Kiki Vandeweghe, who the 3 previous years scoring shooting percentage dropped considerably, down to 44% last year, back up to 49% this year. Perfect from the line. He has 4, and the Knicks are within 4. And we're nearing the 4-minute mark on the first. Chicago yet to go to their bench, and if there is an Achilles heel, which some say it is the Chicago bench, Grant does a good job battling for the rebound, but he can't come up with it. Only 3 Chicago players are in double figures. Not very balanced scoring on this ball club is Vandeweghe, who hits 36% of his 3-pointers this year, cans his first. And the Bulls now lead by 1.
Vandeweghe thought about it. He wanted. The defense never came out. He finally decided to go on and let it go. Good decision.
Last 7 points by New York, scored by Kiki Vanderwood. Jackson on top, working that triangle offense. Then they open it up for Jordan, slapped away by Oakley. With 8 on the shot clock, Chicago will have it.
Sure, Chicago would like to make Wilkins work on that ankle, force him to play Jordan in a one-on-one situation. To this point, though, Wilkins has done a pretty decent job, and of course the Knicks getting good help from the weak side.
At the beginning of the year, nobody really embraced this offense for Chicago, especially that man, because he knew it would limit him. But they have since come to grips with it and have been very successful. Jordan with 2 on the shot clock. The miracle won't go. Jordan just 1 of 5. Cheeks, people wanted to carry. Vanderway spotted up on the 3, but Wilkins takes a baseline instead. Loose ball foul. Just Kersey says we're going to go the other way with it.
Loose ball foul, New York, 33.
Ewing pushed off in that situation, and that is the foul that Ewing must really work against picking up. He picked up his first one against Cartwright down low. With Cartwright falling away from the basket, that was an unnecessary foul. And right here, Ewing, with the push going for the offensive boards, will have to be careful the rest of the way.
Well, Ewing heads toward the bench as Kenny Walker has checked into the lineup, the 5th-year pro out of Kentucky, 26 years old. Also Mark Jackson into the lineup, the 4th-year pro out of St. John's, who has been part of that controversy of New York this year. Pippen gets the first. And Stacey King will come into the lineup for Chicago. Bill Cartwright will take a seat. 2 weeks ago, King heard boos when he checked into the Chicago lineup because of his suspension for 1 ball game. Now he's hearing cheers.
I think the people in Chicago understands that Stacey King is a very important part of the puzzle for this team, especially here in the playoffs. They're going to have to get some good minutes from Stacey. Stacey has to understand also that he has to earn the right to just walk out of practice and to beef about not playing enough. Those things just don't come.
New York worked extensively on the Chicago pressure today in practice. Broken handily there, although it was token pressure. Oakley really doing battle underneath with King, and we're going to have a foul to John McLeod in Jess Kersey's ear about it. King's first. John McLeod not very happy. The former sparring partner for Jimmy Ellis. His family, wife Carol, 2 children still living in Dallas. He says, I'm not worried about my future. Wilkins won't go down. New York has missed 6 of its last 7 shots as Jordan gets around Gerald Wilkins. To the hole, the left hand will go down. Everybody's tipping it.
But the man comes away with it. Oakley just owns the boards.
5 rebounds tonight for Oakley. He averages 12.1 a game.
Well, that big body, and he knows how to use it. He pushes off a lot, but he is so smart he gets away with it down low.
He was traded from Chicago, or from New York to Chicago.
Chicago personal foul, 33, Scottie Pippen.
That'll be Scottie Pippen's first personal foul, and New York's in the penalty. Kenny Walker will go to the charity stripe.
The first game in these best-of-5 series is so important. The team that wins the first game has won 47 of the last 56 series. The Knicks understand that they were very, very fortunate when they came back against the Celtics after falling behind 2-0 last year in the series. They don't want to have to do that here this year.
Well, neither team has missed a free throw. 6 of 6 now for the New York Knicks. 8 of 8 for Chicago. And the Knicks trail by 1, nearing that 2-minute mark of the first quarter. The middle wide open. Grant battles Vanderway through the paint. Pippen sizing up Oakley. Paxson spots up the jumper, doesn't get it. Pippen tries to keep it alive. Rebound. Everybody fighting for it is going to be Chicago's ball with 8:24 on the shot clock.
Well, the effort of the Bulls going to the offensive boards is just key for this ball club. It creates so many more opportunities, and of course the Bulls struggling from the field on their first opportunity. They have to find some other ones, and the offensive board's the way to do that.
Ryan Quinnett will come into the New York Knicks lineup Bulls just 6 of 20 from the floor. 30%. Pippen. 1:35 left in the first. Jackson running the show. McLeod yelling instructions to his team. Jackson can make things happen. Vandeweghe. Way short, and here comes Scottie Pippen. 1-on-2 as it's slapped away, but there's a foul called.
Well, Jackson will get called for the foul, I think, although Vandeweghe came in from behind and knocked the ball away. Did a good job converting defensively. Knocked that one away, but Pippen will get a couple free throws.
Mark Jackson's first. Kiki Vandeweghe takes a seat on the bench, and Brian Quinnett checks into the lineup for the Knicks. The second-year player out of Washington State, a second-round pick back in '89. The third meeting between these two teams. Quinnett 7 of 7 in the first half, as the Knicks opened up that big lead only to have it disappear. Finished with a career-high 20 points, and B.J. Armstrong will come in for Chicago. First free throw miss of the night. Walker out-battled by Horace Grant.
Well, there we are once again on the offensive boards, and on the free throw, that should never happen.
Oakley with the loose ball. Can't say enough about Horace Grant and the job he's done for Chicago this year. He's the pride and joy of Al Vermeil, the strength and conditioning coach. Added a lot of muscle. He said, now I can push my little brother around. His twin brother, of course, playing for Washington. Walker shot high off the glass, no good. Oakley wanted a foul. And we have one right at midcourt.
Oakley and Grant got tied up under the basket. Oakley stuck his hands out asking the officials why not the foul. Grant turned around and did the same thing, said why not the foul, as they got tangled up under the basket.
And that'll set Michael Jordan to the line. 4 points tonight. Jordan 1 field goal, 2 for 2 from the stripe. As mentioned, Michael Jordan 5th straight scoring title, but only once since the 24-second clock was instituted back in 1954 has the scoring champion also won the NBA title. And that was, I'll give you the answer. I'm not going to mention it. Of course, it was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar of Milwaukee.
Chicago definitely has here a good opportunity to do that. They feel like they have definitely the easiest road to the finals should things work out the way they anticipate them working out.
Pressure now put on by Chicago. Jordan, great steal to Grant, to B.J. Armstrong. Too many passes causes turnovers, and B.J. Armstrong had a chance to go on the left side and take it in. He tried to get one more pass in, much to the dismay of Phil Jackson. But Chicago still has the ball with 21 on the shot clock.
You normally see Chicago take advantage of the opportunity when they are able to get the steal and that kind of pressure.
Jordan from way outside. Biggest lead of the ball game. It's 7 for Chicago. Michael Jordan usually accounted for about 33% of the Bulls' offense. This year, only 28.6. But he's done everything else so well. Wilkins loses the handle. The wheels are coming off for the Knicks with 8.2 left in the first.
Well, that's what the Knicks wanted to guard against, and that is allowing Chicago to make that quick run like they do so often. Of course, Jordan usually the guy that gets it started.
Armstrong for 3. One quarter has been played. We'll let you enjoy the crowd in the stadium. The Bulls by 10. It is a 10-point Chicago lead in the first quarter. Ron Thune with Jack Givens. Now, Phil Jackson says he wants his offense to create shots for others, and that is exactly what has happened for Chicago here in the first quarter.
Well, it got up to a slow start for Chicago, but they have been able with their defense to create a lot of opportunities. You see Michael Jordan here wanting to go to the middle. They get good team defense as Quinnett comes over and cuts off the middle, but B.J. Armstrong with the shot from the outside. The Knicks shooting 35%, Chicago 33%. The thing is, though, that the Knicks have turned it over 5 times And Chicago has gotten 10 points off the fast break.
Jordan with 9 first-quarter points as the first 2 of the second quarter, and it is a 12-point Chicago lead. Will Purdue has checked into Chicago's lineup for the Bulls on an 11-0 run.
Well, it's interesting how when your defense gets going, it creates the offense, and you seem to get more and more confidence as the time goes on.
The Knicks want to punch it down low to Ewing, but it isn't paying off right now. Grant, he draws the foul.
Well, it's obvious that this game well in the favor of Chicago right now. The tempo was the thing that John McLeod talked about so often. He wanted the Knicks to be real patient and make sure that they didn't shoot the quick shots. They haven't done that. The other thing, as I mentioned, is Chicago's defensive pressure seems to have just picked up a notch or two, and that has created a lot of easy opportunities on the offensive end. Hodges and Jordan out.
Greg Hodges checks into the lineup. Hodges, the 9th-year pro out of Long Beach State. And Michael Jordan sits down with 11 points. Good look at Horace Grant. A lot of people felt he might be a little bit better off the bench, but he has proved himself worthy of the starting 9. And we've got a foul, says Jess Kersey, as the pressure put on by Chicago. Here's Michael Jordan's last hoop for the Bulls.
He puts the ball on the floor as well as anyone. And look right here, he understands Ewing has the 2 personal fouls. Ewing has to back off. Michael with the left hand gets it to go.
John McLeod said they want to punch it to Patrick Ewing, get the ball in his hands. He's taken only 2 shots, however. Gwinnett for 3. Count it.
Well, he has really given the Knicks a boost here in the second half of the season.
He, along with John Starks, will be coming in, I'm sure, for the Knicks momentarily. Pippen's will fall away pull-up jumper. He likes shooting from 45-degree angles more than straight on. The steal by Chicago, and 2 for Greg Hodges.
The Bulls wanted 3 on that one, but it's that defensive pressure once again that is paying dividends for the Bulls.
Phil Jackson on the far side says, okay, now let's settle down. Walker cutting to the hole, an air ball on a layup. The Bulls are in sync as they throw it away. Sort of a whammy on him.
Kenny Walker probably should have been called for the travel on that one as he made the pass to himself. As it turned out, I don't think any of the Chicago Bulls got a hand on that one.
It was a finger roll. The finger was there, but not the roll. Gwinnett spots up for the 3, and behind the back pass into the hands of Horace Grant. Outlet to Armstrong, 7th New York turnover.
And this is the most time Chicago has taken off the shot clock in about the last 4 minutes.
All last touch by the Knicks with 10 on the shot clock. Oakley comes into the lineup. Kenny Walker will take a seat.
Well, you saw the switch right there, and the problem in that matchup where Ewing was out on Pippen is the quickness of Scottie Pippen will get him the shot every time. Then the turnover creates the quick basket.
Frustrating for a coach because John McLeod worked on that play today. Walker getting it in. What a drive by B.J. Armstrong. Patrick Ewing, all 7'1" of them, was not able to block it. Armstrong now with 5. And the Bulls continue to add on their lead. It is 16. Jackson finally breaks the scoring drought.
The Bulls have done an excellent job on Patrick Ewing. He's only had 2 shots in this game. I think he's just simply not been able to get it down low. When he has gotten it, the double team has forced him to give the ball up.
Gwinnett. Pippen from his favorite spot, and he nails it again as he exchanges words with Charles Oakley. Like we mentioned, they wanted to push Scottie Pippen to the left, keep him on the left side of the court, and not let him get those 45-degree shots, and that is exactly what Scottie Pippen is doing at will right now.
Well, the real problem, though, is the fact that as you see Patrick Ewing make the turnaround, the real problem is that the Knicks are switching in that situation, and that is putting a bigger guy on Scottie Pippen. Of course, Scottie, with his quickness, is able to get any shot he wants.
Right to the hole. Pippen. Ewing did not want to pick up his 3rd personal foul, so he backed off. Pippen with 11 first half points. And John McLeod has to talk about it again. He said the practices leading up to this game have not been inspired. And right now, his play of the team isn't either. 8:23 left in the half. Bulls with a big lead. Immediately following our game, it's Houston and the Lakers in the West. The first round game one. Pete Van Wieren and Doug Collins are standing by at the Great Western Forum to bring you all the action as the playoffs on TNT head into full gear. How about some one-on-one here, Jack?
Well, I talked about the quickness of Pippen against virtually anyone that he has matched up against on the Knicks front line. And of course, Patrick Ewing picking up those unnecessary fouls early in the game forces them to have to lay out and allow Pippen to go to the basket. The Bulls have made their last 8 shots from the field after starting out only 27%. And of course, when you're getting shots that Pippen has gotten his last 3 or 4 or 5 times touching the basketball, you're going to shoot a high percentage.
And I think a positive sign for Phil Jackson is that Michael Jordan is getting a lot of rest right now at this point. John Starks has checked into the Knicks lineup. Player that John McLeod calls the Tiger is Patrick Ewing, now starting to put a little pressure offensively on himself. Gets the 2.
Ewing had to step out on the floor that time, though, to get the ball. And of course, when he is that far away from the basket, they will allow him to work one-on-one.
Pippen again from that spot. This time he goes hard to the floor with a foul by Will Perdue.
Well, this guy seems to always come on around this time of the year. Was complaining early about his lack of playing time, and here he is at playoff time once again answering the call from Phil Jackson.
Matches the biggest lead for Chicago. Ewing from the baseline, the push right-handed shot. Pippen with the rebound, and he's going to lead the break. They shot that with about 18 on the shot clock. Pippen with the jam. John McLeod said, if we take shots with 18 on the clock and miss, we're dead.
And that is what is happening with the Knicks. And not only that, Patrick Ewing took that one from deep out in the corner. That takes away a lot of the offensive rebound.
New York totally out of sync. Hodges for 3. The 62-year-old building is rocking in Chicago. The Bulls by 21.
To play it, they're doing it very well, and you see what's happening right there. 15 to zip.
Chicago, fast break. Chicago on a 29-9 run. They're 9 of 10 shooting this period. Inside to Oakley. He just forces his way in, doesn't get it. Gets the rebound. Here comes Jordan leading the break. Hodges for 2. What a quarter B.J. Armstrong's had for Chicago. Ball belongs to the Bulls in 6 minutes. 5 points to go along with 4 assists. 10th New York turnover, much to the dismay of John McLeod, whose team average is only 16 a ball game. They haven't even played a half yet.
Well, that simply is not the style of basketball he wanted his team playing. That fast break opportunity right there. Not what the Knicks needed in that situation.
Armstrong now with 7. Now, if you're New York, you have to pull a couple of defensive stops, but you also have to get, I think, in sync offensively.
Well, you do. You want to try to get back into your style, and that is what the Knicks are good at right there. That is getting the ball to Patrick Ewing, especially against Will Perdue, and allowing him to work one-on-one down low.
Will Perdue's first personal foul. Now here's tonight's GMC scoreboard, or will it be coming up? Show you scores from the other playoff game in action. Patrick Ewing, they wanted a walk. It still belongs to New York with 14 on the shot clock. As now we look at our GMC scoreboard. Philadelphia and Milwaukee. Philadelphia by 7 over the Bulls. That's in the first quarter. And in the West, Golden State on top of San Antonio in the Hemisphere Arena by 4. And of course, next is Houston and the Lakers with Doug Collins and Pete Van Wieren. 13 on the shot clock. Knicks trail by 23 points, 5:50 left in the second quarter. Oakley triggering the inbounds pass to Cheeks. The savvy of Maurice Cheeks waiting for the offense to open up. Loose ball foul. And it'll go against Chicago.
You mentioned that the Knicks must get in sync offensively to get back in this game. I think it is just important, or maybe more important at this stage of the game, that they get back defensively. Minutes.
Vandeweghe for 3, and that'll get you back into a ball game. Kiki Vandeweghe now with 2 3-pointers. He has 10 first-half points, but the lead is still 20. Rodgers to Purdue. John Starks didn't have a choice.
Tell you, anytime you allow the ball to get in the paint with your point guard, you're going to get hurt. It's plain and simple, and the Knicks have allowed Chicago to do that time and time again in this game to this point. Starks picks up the personal. What happens when you let the ball get into the paint? Your big guy has to come over and help out, and that is why you've seen Will Purdue work very effectively down low.
Paul Silas to the right of John McLeod as Purdue way short on both free throws. He's only a 67% shooter on the year. Boy, Ewing just floored Will Purdue, and that'll be Patrick Ewing's third. Maurice Cheek says, Patrick, get away. Don't get a tee.
And all 3 of Ewing's personal fouls have been fouls that he could have very easily avoided.
I'm not so sure how hard he hit Will Purdue on that.
Yeah, but the fact is he picked up the personal foul on that one. Of course, he feels as though he has been bumped and pushed around an awful lot in this game and hasn't gotten a call.
Giving Jordan an awful lot of room out front. Chicago throws it away. It was a week that started happily for Patrick Ewing, the birth of his first daughter, Randy, along with wife Rita, as John Starks takes it to the hole. Not going so well right now. Carrying the ball against Craig Hodges. Turnover for Chicago. We're in Chicago Stadium with 4:50 showing on the clock in the second quarter, and it is the Bulls handily by 18, 51-33 as a foul is called underneath. Bob Thulin and Jack Gibbons. The foul is on Purdue. That's his second personal. Scottie Pippen checks back into Chicago's lineup. Purdue will take a seat. Cartwright also coming in. Paxson coming in as Phil Jackson making some wholesale changes.
You can kind of feel the tempo change in just a little bit right here, and Jackson wants to make sure that he goes in at the half with a comfortable lead, and not only that, with his team playing on a positive note. And the way to do that is come back with your main guys and make sure that you keep control of this game.
Vandeweghe perfect from the line, 5 of 5, has 11. But if there's one unit that this offense of Chicago hurts, it is the second unit, because they don't get the playing time together as a second unit, and it is a complicated offense. Sometimes it is out of sync.
Well, the way Chicago has played here tonight as a team has been pretty simple, actually, and that is just get the ball and push it down the floor and take the ball to the basket. That's been a real good philosophy that they have used here tonight. It's worked.
Cartwright's turnaround over Oakley. Tipped by Oakley. Loose ball foul will be called against New York, and Oakley slams the ball to the floor. The foul is on Vandeweghe. His first, team third, and Oakley, everybody wanted a technical on that when he threw the ball down.
I think Oakley just a little frustrated, as was Patrick Ewing when he left the game. He feels like all the calls coming on the Chicago end of the floor, nothing in the favor of the Knicks.
Jordan walked with it. We'll go the other way. Talking to John Starks this morning about playing Michael Jordan. Now, this is a kid that was in the CBA and is now playing against quite possibly the MVP of the NBA. He says, he's a hero of mine, but I can't be enamored by the fact I'm playing Michael Jordan. I've got to bump him just like Tucker does and play tough. Oakley battles his way in offensively. Ball belongs to, referees check each other, and it belongs to Chicago. Nothing is going the Knicks' way right now.
You create those kind of opportunities, though, those breaks for yourself when you play as hard as Chicago has played in this game. The officials know how this game has been going. They understand the flow. And you reward the team that's playing the hardest. That is definitely Chicago.
And the Bulls have won a league-high 43 games by 10 or more, and they're on their way to making it 44. Kidd, the bounce pass to Jordan, to Cartwright to the hole.
In talking to John McLeod, he had a concern coming into this game. The Knicks didn't practice well yesterday, and a lot of times you play just as you practice. Now here's the bounce pass as Jordan goes to the baseline. Cartwright takes it to the hole, and once again Chicago with a chance for a three-point play.
Well, Grant comes back in the lineup. Stacey King will take a seat. 3:48 left in the half. Bulls 53, the Knicks 34. We'll have a lane violation. Cartwright will do it all again. I tell you, you can't buy a break.
No breaks. No breaks at all for the Knicks.
Knicks need to make their own breaks right now.
Yes, they do.
Cartwright makes good on the free throw. There's the press put on. Paxson backs off, but Grant looking for the double team. This time he pulls back. Vandaway from outside doesn't get it. Cheeks good positioning on Paxson for the rebound.
Now these opportunities that the Knicks must take advantage of. They haven't had many second shot opportunities, and here they are once again. It goes right through the hands of Oakley and out of bounds.
Turnover number 12 for New York. Cliff Livingston will come into Chicago's lineup. Somebody has to be open.
Oh, that's excellent ball movement. That shot has to go. That is the way it's supposed to be done.
That is the way Tex Winter wants this offense to go for Chicago. A balance between control and spontaneity. And away on Jordan. Gwinnett, no place to go. Jordan says, here's your wallet, Brian. To the hole. Jordan has only 4 field goals, but he has 13 points, and the lead is 24 in 22nd timeout by the Knicks. And I don't think their problems will be solved in 20 seconds.
Not hardly in 20 seconds. And that play right there indicative of the way the Bulls have played this game. Jordan just goes in and takes the ball away from Brian Gwinnett and then gets out in the open floor. No one comes over to stop him right there. Is way too late for Starks. You let Jordan get in the paint, and you're just not going to stop him. I tell you, when I used to play against Dr. J and Hubie Brown was the coach down in Atlanta, the thing that he always told us to do when you have a guy like a Michael Jordan or Dr. J who with one play can get the crowd ignited is to foul him before he gets in the act. Take that opportunity away from him. That's what you must do when playing Michael Jordan.
I'd like to remind you, coming up on the Prudential Halftime Report, Ernie Johnson and our good friend Rick Barry in our Atlanta studio, scores and highlights. Plus, they'll take a closer look at the entire playoff picture. And at the top of the show, Rick Barry had some very interesting predictions, and I think he may be exactly right on about 2 or 3 of them. Cartwright goes out. Livingston in the lineup, along with Scottie Pippen again. Tucker in for New York. Starks forces up to Denver, and that'll be an offensive foul on John Starks. Chicago in the second period, Jack, 81% shooting. They've only missed 3 out of 16.
Now Starks gets called for the offensive foul in that situation, but I like the fact that he took the ball to the basket to try to make something happen. That shot goes, and the official sees it the other way. You have a chance for a 3-point play.
Rams turnaround won't find the mark. Chicago enjoying their best regular season in their history. Their first 60-plus win season. Trey Tucker got up in the air, and it was sort of a point of no return. Turnover number 15.
And so many of those turnovers have been unforced turnovers. Chicago's defense will force enough. You don't want to give them any bonuses by throwing the ball all over the place, and that is what the Knicks have done.
10 turnovers this quarter for the Knicks.
I really like that Chicago wants to get Grant involved in the offense. You see him continue to go to him down low. He is the only player that really hasn't played all that well offensively for Chicago.
Jordan's second three-pointer. The Bulls are on fire. The crowd is likewise. Chicago now has 28 points off turnovers. New York just 5. When you play this way, you don't have to worry about a possible thin bench. And away. big step inside as it knocked away. With 5 on the shot clock, ball belongs to the Knicks. Scores will keep you updated on Philadelphia by 3 over Dill Harrison Company. Golden State now by 9 over San Antonio. And everybody was saying, watch out for Golden State. You never know what Nelly has up his sleeve.
Well, it's not. That's part of it. But when you have 3 guys you can go to at any time, it's very difficult to devise a defense that can stop those 3.
Serious matchup problems. Pippen's fouled on a play with 1:05 left in the first half.
We've seen right here what you can do when you have 1 or 2 guys you can go to. Chicago has done an excellent job of taking Patrick Ewing out of the game. But when you have 3 guys, as Golden State does, you can't double team because you know you're going to get hurt somewhere.
Patrick Ewing on the bench with 3 personal fouls as Scottie Pippen goes to the line. 5th in the NBA in steals, the 4th-year pro out of Central Arkansas. Pippen 4 of 5 now from the line. Central Arkansas in the NAIA lost in the NAIA final this year to Oklahoma City University. Well, Chicago on another run. This one 12-0. And the lead is 63-34 with 1 minute left to be played in the first half. The Knicks can't even get their hands on the ball now. Tucker dribbles through, but by the time they set up their offense, there was only 12 on the shot clock. Luckily, they get the foul because you only have 12 seconds to get your offense going. That's not a whole lot of time.
Well, it's not, especially when you're playing against a team that is playing as aggressively on the defensive end as Chicago has been here in this second period.
So Michael Jordan picking up his second personal foul. John Starks goes to the line. Former Oklahoma Stater. Played at Golden State back in 1989. Very pleasant surprise for the Knicks. Starks with 4. Inside of 50 seconds. There you see the lead. Spots up. Doesn't get the jumper to go down. Tucker with the rebound. There'll be a 15-second difference between the shot and the game.
The Knicks need to get a quick one up so they can have an opportunity for the last shot.
That's what Cornette wanted to do. Oakley, great job battling for the rebound, but he doesn't get any help. Hey, that was pure hustle by Charles Oakley, but everybody else was on the other side of the floor.
I'll tell you what happened that time is everyone else for the Knicks had already retreated to the other end, and when you're giving up as many easy fast break points as the Knicks have done in this game to Chicago, you have to get back defensively. No one there left to help Oakley out.
About a 1.5 second difference between the shot and the game clock. That is the game clock in the lower right hand portion. Jackson setting it up. Livingston on top of the key. See if they clear it out for Michael. 3 on the shot clock. Jordan puts it up, doesn't get it. Rebound, Vandeweghe into the hands of Pippen at the buzzer. It won't go down. But what a 24.
I think there is a foul, though. Oakley picks up the personal.
It is on Charles Oakley. John McLeod will head to the locker room with his team. Oakley picks up his 3rd personal foul, but what a 24 minutes for the Chicago Bulls as Scottie Pippen will try to make it even a bigger lead. And that has to be frustrating for a man that tasted the NBA Finals, almost went there with the Dallas Mavericks. He has tasted success in the league, but right now it is a frustrating time. And here's Pippen on the line. The Knicks are in the locker room. Give him a couple extra minutes to talk about it. Pippen hits the first. He'll have the second. He is 6 of 7 from the stripe. 18 first half points for Scottie Pippen. Pippen gets the second. We have played 24 minutes. The Bulls are 50-7 when they lead at halftime, and right now they have a very comfortable margin. Stay with us. Ernie Johnson is next in Atlanta.
Coming up, it's the Prudential Halftime Report. On this opening night of the playoffs, Rick Barry joins me here as we run down all the first-round action tonight. We'll update the games in Milwaukee and San Antonio and look ahead to Game 2 of our doubleheader, the Rockets and Lakers. It's all ahead on the Prudential Halftime Report. They have played 24 minutes at Chicago Stadium, and boy, 36. Ernie Johnson here along with Rick Barry with the Prudential halftime report. The worst fears the Knicks could have had coming to light in this first half.
As it is in Chicago Stadium. I really feel that the Bulls deserve a lot of credit. However, they got off to a slow start. The Knicks were playing their pace game, had a 4-point lead, and then all of a sudden it was Chicago's defense. Let's take a look at what they were able to do when they started to put some pressure on. Going to keep an eye here on Horace Grant. The problem, but then the key to it's going to be Scottie Pippen, who does a... Let's watch it develop. Oakley sets the pick. Now watch Horace jump out, causes problem for Cheeks. Now he'll rotate back. There's Paxson, and look at quickly. The floor, Jordan will come up with the loose ball and an easy basket for Paxson, and it just went downhill for the Knicks from there.
29-point halftime lead, the Bulls over the New York Knicks. Now, I mean, if you're John McCloud, say, guys, I'll see you in 15 minutes.
Well, I think what you would probably tell your team is, hey, guys, let's not really embarrass ourselves in the second half. Let's show some
series in the Eastern Conference in the first round. The Philadelphia 76ers, number 5, visiting number 4 Milwaukee Bucks, the Bradley Center. The
Charles Barkley showing that that knee is not bothering. This beautiful pass, the bounce pass, a tough one to defend. Hawkins with the easy 2.
It was a 13-2 game at that point. Del Harris's guys have come back to close Bradley Center. Now into the Western Conference, the Golden State Warriors and San Antonio Spurs. They got the banner there for the Midwest Division Championship.
Had to play tough against Robinson. And Robinson knocks him down. Lister's said, hey, this is not going to bother me. I'm going to show you what I can do. As he runs the court for a 7'1" guy. What an athlete.
They had a 2-point lead at that point. Terry Cummings going to find Sean Elliott all by himself, and there's Willie Anderson throwing down that tomahawk. San Antonio on
deny position inside for Robinson. Robinson battling hard to get it. They're grabbing each other, holding. You see him grabbing jerseys. There's the hook by Robinson. Watch the official. Good job by the...
Yeah, where's Richard Steele when you need him? That was a wise decision to step in between those two. 24 lead over San Antonio. A few people thinking that maybe the Warriors, with all that firepower with Run TMC,
46% in the first quarter and still have a 6-point lead. The thing is, San Antonio shot 30.
See after this. Stadium. The Prudential halftime report continues. We've got bonus coverage for you tonight here on TNT on opening night of the playoffs. We want to go to San Antonio to Hemisphere Arena. We showed you the physical nature of play in that game, the Spurs and the Golden State Warriors. Let's go live now to Hemisphere. Steve Albert and Jim Barnett.
Gobbled up by Tyrone Hill. We'd like to welcome TNT bonus coverage tonight with a score. Steve Albert, Jim Barnett, Jim Kozimor at the Hemisphere Arena in San Antonio. Here's Rod Higgins for the Warriors. He can't hit. And David Robinson the rebound. It has been a most physical first half of play. 2 altercations, both involving David Robinson, with Jim Peterson and Alton Lister of the Golden State Warriors. The Spurs have gotten most of their damage inside. They have not taken timeout. 8:40 remaining in the first half, and the Warriors by 4.
I think the Warriors surprised San Antonio coming out attacking like they did. Very physical play, and the emotions got very high very early, and very unlikely out the curve. Look inside with Peterson, and they get all tangled. And both benches erupted on
Robinson, and Rodney Nunn has to step between to break up the two. Mario Elie also posing a furious physical assault on David Robinson. What with the likes of Jim and when the Warriors are usually on. And Johnson stopped by Chris Mullin, and Rod Higgins has quick lineup. Chris Mullin, second of the ball game. 37-30 lead. Paul Pressey known more for his defense. 7:32, 8:05 and counting in the half. Marciulionis, who has looked sharp and looked physical. Nowhere to go. Puts it back to Mullin. 9 on the. Mitch Richmond with
better chance to win the basketball game.
11 points for Rich. For Hardaway. Warriors lead at 39-32, and Willie Anderson, and suddenly the Spurs getting a bit on track from the perimeter. Warriors by 5. The quick release by Richmond. The rainbow jumper won't go. Deflect.
Somebody was bound to miss a jumper sooner or later. A battle of jumpers over there, 39-34. Golden State trying to steal one at Hemisphere Arena here on TNT. Now, Rick Barry, let's take a look at the Western Conference. The Blazers and Sonics open up tomorrow night. The Suns and Jazz later tonight. How do you look at that series, Phoenix and Utah?
Well, I think that the Suns really have the number of the Jazz over the last couple of seasons, and the Jazz have a difficult time winning on the road. So, again, the key there is going to be the health of the 3 key players, K.J. Chambers and also Marley. But I don't like the Jazz depth.
Game 2 of our doubleheader tonight. The winner of the Lakers-Rockets series gets the Warriors-Spurs, but I think the Lakers-Rockets is really going to do something.
Yeah, I really think that's going to be perhaps maybe the most competitive series that's because if you remember, they were 14 to the
team in there.
Well, Vlade will play well, Michael Thompson will play well, but leading you in the experience of the Lakers and Mike Dunleavy's emphasis on defense this year, I think that's going to hold true. They're the only team in the league other than Detroit, the Lakers, to hold the.
No doubt some of our questions will be answered in Game 2 of our doubleheader tonight here on TNT opening night. Before we send you back to Chicago Stadium, let's hit the scoreboard one more time. Eastern Conference, Bradley Center, Milwaukee Bucks and Philadelphia 76ers, 44-38. The Sixers. Golden State in the West has a 39-36 lead over San Antonio in the second period. Here on TNT. The Knicks as we go back to Ron Thulin and Goose Giddens, guys.
Thank you very much, Ernie Johnson. 65-36 is our. At the top of the show, we talked about the fact that John McLeod did not want the turnovers. He also didn't want Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan getting in the open court, bringing in the crowd. Guess what's happened?
That's exactly what has happened. The other thing he did not want to happen was his team to shoot the ball with only 8 or 9 seconds going off the shot clock. The first 11 minutes, the Knicks were cruising right along. But look what happened the last 13 minutes. Chicago picked up the pressure defensively. The backcourt got going. Jordan, of course, leading the way for Chicago. You see what happened off those turnovers. 28 points and 22 points off of the fast break. You got those kind of numbers, and you know you're going to make good things happen, and that's what Chicago did.
Speaking of fast breaks, how about Michael Jordan? A little bit of defense here.
Well, not only that, was how the thing that is impressive about that is how aggressively Jordan went in and just took that ball away. And then, of course, the quickness in the transition. He gets out on the break and gets the easy one on the other end. You let him get in the paint, and he's going to make good things happen, as he always does. Pippen using his quickness right here, and he penetrates, forces the defense to come over. Michael Jordan also able to get it to go from the outside. Of course, the Bulls overall have really executed on the inside-outside game, and it starts out there with the quickness on the wings. And Michael Jordan, you see what he has done this first half.
16 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, but the leading scorer for Chicago in the first half was Scottie Pippen, as he contributed 19 points.
Well, 15 of those points coming in the second period. Once again, the double team coming down low. The ball movement was just excellent on this play. And Pippen, of course, with the jumper from the outside.
How about the score by quarters? You're not going to win a ball game like this The New York Knicks trailed 29-19 at the end of one. 36-17 they were outscored in the second. Now the Knicks trailed only 20-19 with about 2:14 left in the first. They were outscored by 22 over the next 8 minutes as the Bulls blew the game open, and that is where we stand right now. For the game, Chicago shooting 50%, and they are 40-2 when they shoot 50% or better on the season. Right now they're headed that way. Ron Thulin, Jack Gibbons, and of course we'll be cutting away to that Golden State San Antonio game and the Milwaukee Philadelphia game, so stay with us here on TNT as we bring you all the playoff action for the 1991 season. Now New York wants to get a basket quickly, and they do just that. Oakley with the hoop.
Look for the Bulls to push the ball down inside to Cartwright against Ewing to try to force Ewing to pick up his fourth personal. That is when the Bulls took control of the game. They were able to just say, "Will take the ball to the basket."
Pippen, they're forcing him to his left, what they wanted to do, and he misses the shot. But oh, the foul by Cartwright. Nobody blocked out the big guy.
Well, those are the kind of baskets that have really hurt the Knicks in this game. Time after time, when the Knicks make something positive happen, they allow the Bulls to come right back with a quick basket, and it just really knocks them down. Just another peg.
I think Rick Barry hit it on the head in our halftime show. He said, John McLeod probably said, "Come on, guys, let's not embarrass ourselves any more than we already have." Ball loose. The Bulls are running. It's showtime, folks. Jordan now with 18. Chicago on the year scoring 110 points a game to opponents 101. That point differential is exactly 9 a game, and that is #1 in the NBA. Usually when you have a point differential of that much, you're going to have success in the playoffs. Tucker, his first field goal of the ball game. He, along with Gerald Wilkins, scoreless. And Jack, you're taking a lot of points and potential points out of the lineup. And then Pippen comes back and answers.
Well, that's exactly what I'm talking about right there. John McLeod calls the quick timeout. You get something positive on the other end, and then you come back down and give up a quick one.
We'll be back. 10:14 left in the third. And our category is scoring average. Michael Jordan, of course, his 5th straight scoring title, winning at 31.5, followed by Malone, King, Charles Barkley, and Patrick Ewing 5th at 26.6. But how about tonight? Cartwright outscoring Ewing 9-6.
Well, that's what happens usually when these two teams get together. Cartwright normally won't outscore Ewing, as you see Pippen with the easy one. He will, though, make Ewing struggle offensively. As we told you early in the game, Patrick Ewing averaging almost 27 points on the season, but when he plays Chicago, he's right there around 20 points a game. Bill Cartwright does an excellent job of pushing Ewing around and making him work.
Well, his playoff average is 23.8, and that's second in Knicks history to Bernard King. And right now, the Knicks continue to be cold in this opening round best-of-5 series in the Eastern Conference. The first of 2 ball games tonight. Lakers and Houston warming up in the Forum right now. That'll be immediately following our game. 8 games this week on TNT. Ball belongs to Chicago. 9 on the shot clock. Keeping you updated on the other playoff games around the NBA. Philadelphia leading Milwaukee by 12. That's an intermission. And, of course, Golden State up by 1 on San Antonio. We'll be going to that ball game. We'll show you the conclusion of that game. And Vandeweghe with the rebound.
Well, tough shot that time by Michael Jordan. And then the steal. Well, that has really been the story in this game.
Scottie Pippen to Jordan, and he is fouled out of play. And Scottie Pippen, 193 steals coming into tonight's game. He's 5th in the NBA in that category, and he comes up with a big one again.
But there's no way in that situation you can't see Pippen right there. I mean, he's standing back there. He's faking like he's going to go for the steal. He just stays right there, stays with it. And you make that pass. His quickness just simply will not allow you to carelessly deliver the ball to someone. Great anticipation.
The Bulls 4th in the NBA overall in team steals. Jordan gets the free throw. He's 5 of 5 from the line. And look at John Starks, Quinnett, Jackson, Eddie Lee Wilkins, John McLeod. Not much to smile about since about 2 minutes left in the first quarter. Jordan gets the roll. He's 6 of 6 from the line. 3 points here in the second half. 19 for the ball game.
Well, the Bulls show no signs of backing off the full court pressure in this situation. Of course, they like to do that off of free throws.
20 points. Check that for Jordan. Bill Jackson says a lot of his defensive knowledge comes from our man Hubie Brown, that he taught him about pressure defense. Vandeweghe with the 2. Of course, a lot of people feel Hubie may have been a little ahead of his time. He did pressure defense a long time ago. You played with Hubie Brown's pressure defense in Atlanta.
Yeah, he really liked for you to pick the pressure up full court and make sure that you are active all the time.
Paxson can't get the 3 to go. Tucker with the rebound. He's got Oakley on the left, and he'll wisely hold it up. Now, how about that don't shoot until 8 seconds on the shot clock now when the trail by this much as Vandeweghe takes it to the hole. You can't really afford to sit around, can you, Jeff?
No, you have to come out and do that, but that doesn't mean come down and take 4 shots. Now, that shot by Vandeweghe was what the Knicks need, something easy going to the basket so they can get that percentage up.
They've only cut 1 point off that halftime lead. Pippen inside. Ball belongs to Chicago. 10 on the shot clock. No foul.
Once again, though, Chicago gets inside in the paint area, and that is the one thing that the Knicks must work at cutting off the rest of this game.
Paxson spotting up for a 3. Way behind Cheeks, but Pippen's going to dump it off. Ewing slaps it away. Tucker tries to find the handle. Ball goes out. It belongs to New York with 21 on the shot clock. So even when New York has a chance for a break, they can't capitalize on it.
A real lack of execution by the Knicks in this game, and it has hurt them. Opportunities like that you just have to have when you're trying to get back in the ball game. Going to the wayside.
Ewing way outside. He's going to stay outside. He doesn't come through. Now he sets up. Tucker for 3. Doesn't get it. Off the mark. Oakley, though, second chance. Tucker, good touch pass to Kiki Vandeweghe. Vandeweghe now with 6 second-half points. He has 17 for the ball game. The lead is 26. And the fans really aren't satisfied. Chicago has it. 17 on the shot clock.
Well, I think in a playoff game, you have to make sure that you keep the intensity and not die down, not back off at all. And I think that is what this crowd wants right now. They need an electrifying play and look for Chicago to try to get that and get this crowd back involved.
Cartwright wheels to Paxson. Shot clock at 3. Shot clock at 2, but New York has the ball. Oh, the Bulls are 40-3 against opponents under 500, and that proves one thing. Michael Jordan does not allow them to lose to teams under 500. As Vandeweghe is fouled on the play, and that is a very impressive record. That's made Chicago awfully good, too.
Yeah, you have to win the game you're supposed to win, and a good way to find out just how good a team is to see what they do against lesser opponents. See if they come down to that level or if they play on the level that they're accustomed to playing. And Chicago, of course, with that number that you just mentioned, does an excellent job against the teams that they're supposed to beat.
Benjamin Roy Armstrong is checked into the lineup. B.J. Armstrong, better known as. About a minute to go in the second quarter, and San Antonio has taken over the lead 56-51 over Golden State. Once again, we'll be going to that ball game here on TNT with more bonus coverage as we keep you updated on all the games in playoff competition. Kiki, last 8 New York points, but it is still a 24-point Chicago lead. They've made up 5 points. Armstrong with the jumper. Oakley has the rebound and controls it, and he's going to lead the pack. 9 rebounds now for Oakley. Point guard Oakley dishes off to Vandeweghe. Kiki playing horse, and he misses the shot.
Well, sometimes you have too much time and too much room. Vandeweghe stood there and really thought about it, sized it up, had too much time.
Chicago, of course, the home court advantage throughout the Eastern Conference playoffs. They'll have the home court advantage up until the NBA Finals if they play Portland. And with this stadium, with their record, 35-6 here in the stadium, it's going to be tough to win. And we've got a traveling call on Bill Cartwright. With 6:45 remaining in the third quarter, the Bulls lead at 73-49. Quite a first half if you just joined us. Chicago led by 10, 29-19 at the end of the first, and really blew it open in the second. 65-36 was our halftime score, and Scottie Pippen scored 19. Vandeweghe inside, and he is all the offense New York has right now, as the Bulls have gone scoreless in the last 3 minutes.
Chicago has simply taken the ball out of the hands of Patrick Ewing, not allowing him to post up on the left side as he loves to do. When he does that, they have run 2 and sometimes 3 players at him to force him to give the ball up. The Knicks have not gotten the outside shooting that you need in a game like this.
Cheeks whistled for his second personal foul. Second team foul. Jordan with Tucker on him. Fakes right, goes left. And we've got a push. So the New York Knicks have played just about 6 minutes here in the third quarter, and they've only picked up 5 points.
Well, that's not the way to get back in the game. Chicago now seems to have gone into a more isolated one-on-one situation offense right now, and it seems to have bogged down somewhat the things that were working for him in the first half. Getting out defensively, creating opportunities in the open floor has not been there for him in this third period.
Oh, it's time now for another game of blow your whistle. It's Kiki Vandeweghe whistle for the foul. Oakley, in the meantime, picked up his 4th personal. That's second on Vandeweghe. John McLeod trying to get something going.
Committing the fouls, not the way to do that, though. The next personal will send the Knicks, send Chicago to the free throw line.
With over 6 minutes left. Pippen finally triggers the inbounds pass. Good side of Grant. Great no-look pass by Michael Jordan.
And another steal. Well, how many times has that happened in this game?
Jordan spots up for the 3.
Well, that's the way it got started in the second period when things seemed to be bogging down. Chicago's defensive pressure picked up, and they have taken advantage of those extra opportunities.
5:54 remaining in the third quarter. The Bulls lead at 78-49. Standing by in our studios in Atlanta, Ernie Johnson. EJ.
Thank you very much, Ron Thurland. Let's check in on that San Antonio Golden State Western Conference first rounder. Mitch Richmond scored 20 points in the first half for Golden State, but he missed there and gets San Antonio running. Rod Strickland will give it up and get it right back. The jumper finds the bottom, and San Antonio, down for much of the second period, comes back and leads 57-53 at the half. The Spurs at home at Hemisphere leading Golden State by 4. Now let's go back to Chicago Stadium to Ron and Deuce.
All right, EJ, we'll be checking back with you throughout the evening with updates on that score along with Milwaukee, Philadelphia. 5:54 remaining in the third, and it has been all the Chicago Bulls. Once again, the fire drill pressure, and Cartwright picks up Ewing. Not exactly a battle of 2 of the quickest in the NBA.
But the other players for the Knicks having such a hard time bringing the ball up the floor. That is right there is about as quickly and as easily as they've been able to get the ball up the floor, and there's the turnover.
Here comes Pippen. Cheeks goes for the steal. 19th turnover for the Knicks. For 3. Tucker has the rebound over Jordan, who jumped just a tad early. Vandeweghe spotting up for the 3. Hopefully doesn't see him. Will Wilkins will come into New York's lineup. I'd like to get it in Tucker's hand. That could be a 3. Inside, we've got a foul. Pippen just shoved by Oakley. Pippen starts laughing.
Well, that was a good foul by Pippen. He simply wanted to make sure that Oakley didn't have an opportunity to score as he got on the inside on that pass.
Third personal on Pippen. Here it is again.
Well, here it is right here. Oakley will get called for the technical. You see him with the elbow, the push-up right there. A good play by Scotty. It prevents the basket.
Oakley is called for the technical, and Michael Jordan, who is 6 of 6 from the line, will go down the other end and shoot it.
The playoffs, you don't give up anything easy.
Nothing but net for Jordan. 79-49, a 30-point lead. The biggest lead for Chicago tonight has been 32 as we look at Oakley. A Virginia unit. Phil Jackson takes a seat. 45-year-old, 12th head coach of the Bulls. What hustle by Jordan.
Well, the quick hands. Quick hands he has, and he's always around the ball.
6 years ago, Phil Jackson was the CBA Coach of the Year. Now he has a chance to win the NBA. Cheeks, nowhere to go. Finally gets it to Wilkins. Jordan all over him.
Oh, that is.
I'm telling you what, he's in his back pocket.
Oh, he really is. Tell you what, you have to get that kind of play, though, aggressiveness from your star player. That just filters down throughout the whole team. Not a good shot by Vandeweghe, but Oakley there for the 2.
tell you, the only one right now outside of Kiki Vandeweghe that seems to be working hard both on the offense and defense is Charles Oakley. We've got a foul called on New York. That'll be on Maurice Cheeks. That is his third personal foul. But Oakley's, I think he's one of the veteran players along with Vandeweghe that have a great deal of pride that don't want to see an embarrassment, along with Maurice Cheeks.
Well, you can look at Oakley's face and know real quickly that he doesn't like what's happening to his team, and he knows the problem with a game like this is it's very hard to bounce back and put together a good effort in just a couple of days.
Oakley 8 points, 10 rebounds. B.J. Armstrong's first points of the second half. He has 8.
The first game so important in these best-of-5 series. BJ gives them a lot of help off the bench. He's a lot different from Paxson at that point guard spot in that he gives them a lot of quickness, gives Chicago a lot of quickness, especially defensively.
B.J. Armstrong, who says his most prized possession is his college degree. That may change. It may be an NBA championship ring if things go according to the Bulls plan. 30-point lead. Ewing goes hard to the floor, and he'll be helped up by Bill Cartwright. Cartwright's third. And that will also be the third team foul with 4:35 remaining in the third quarter.
I like what Chicago has done defensively in this game. Of course, we see that they have scored 81 points in this game. There's still over 4.5 minutes to go, but you have to understand how they got there, and that is with the good defensive pressure and by not giving the Knicks anything easy down low, just as Cartwright prevented Ewing.
Ewing only 6 points, 4 rebounds, and we're going to have an offensive foul. And that'll be on Patrick Ewing. Let's see if he goes ahead and gets the technical here just to maybe fire up his team or just... There it is. A little frustration. He better not get another one. And he is really giving it to Jess Kersey. That is 4 fouls now on Ewing, who has not had a good game, which we talked about at the top of the show. He's very frustrated with Cartwright and company.
Cartwright knows how to play Ewing. He understands that Ewing will push a little bit to get position. Sometimes you have to be an actor down there. You have to bait the officials into calling it your way every now and then. Cartwright has forced Ewing to pick up 2 personals on the offensive end in this game, and those personal fouls forced Ewing to have to go to the bench.
Ewing, along with the 6 points, he also has the 4 fouls, but he also has committed 5 turnovers tonight.
Where they are going to keep Ewing in the game, and when you're down by this number and you need to make something happen, he's not going to help you at all sitting on the bench.
Gerald Wilkins on Jordan. A little razzle-dazzle. Shot clock at 6. To Pippen. Shot clock at 2. Pippen.
Now that's execution right there. Good unselfish play by Chicago. Pippen understood the shot clock was down, had to take that one, had to make it, and he did.
23 now for Scottie Pippen, and Chicago on an 11-2 run. 3:49 left for 3, and as Quinnett is checked into the lineup. Pippen hustled down court. Here comes BJ. He wisely pulls up on Mark Jackson. DeGrant. Ewing snares the rebound, and he'll take it up over the timeline again. Jackson, the shot. Once again, there's Oakley hustling underneath.
You have to like Oakley and the fact that he stays right with this game, not backing off at all.
10 points now for Oakley. The lead is still 31 for Chicago. Patrick gives Cartwright a little shove. We're near the 3-minute mark of the third quarter. Shot clock at 6. Wilkins had a chance at the steal. Shot clock at 2. Pippen lets it go again. And Oakley with another rebound, and a foul is called. And we've got a timeout called by the Chicago Bulls. 2:53 remaining in the third. It is the Bulls handily over the Knicks.
The New York Knicks, anybody for bonus coverage, raise your hand. I'm for it, too. The other Eastern Conference first-round series underway tonight. The Milwaukee Bucks and the Philadelphia 76ers at the Bradley Center in Milwaukee. Let's go live there now to Neil Funk and Steve Mix with the call.
59-48. 59-50. The Sixers by 9 with 8:55 left. Here in the third period. Barkley against Roberts, and Burkowski waiting to come with a double. And there he comes.
You have to wonder about why Milwaukee would want to double. Charles Barkley has not shown yet that he can put the ball on the floor and drive to the basket off that knee as we see the turnover. But maybe you'd want to just let Charles be isolated on one side with just one defender and stay home with your men if you're Del Harris. Take a look at Alvin Robertson. He's ISO'd on the left side. He was able to break his man down, but he missed the shot.
Humphries fires, no. And a loose ball foul.
Once again, the Philadelphia 76ers doing a good job defensively as compared to, you take a look at the first half stats. They held Milwaukee to just 45% shooting from the field. They're doing a good job opening up this half as well.
That turnover a minute ago was turnover number 12 from Milwaukee, and that is what has really hurt them. Sometimes forced turnovers, sometimes unforced. Charlie ducking inside and lays it off the glass. 7:55 left to play in the third quarter. An 11-point Sixer advantage. Shea's mishandled, and that's turnover number 13 for the Bucks. We said sometimes they're forced, sometimes they're not. Gilliam, and to the line he'll go.
My, oh my, Armin Gilliam doing an excellent job of controlling the pass. Here's a look at it. The outlet coming from Charles Barkley. There's Armin, there's the foul right there. There's the whack, there's the shot. Good athletic move by Armin Gilliam. The Sixers have built up a 13-point lead and possibly 14 if Armin can make this one.
12 in the game for Armin as he settles himself in at the free throw line. The Bucks went out in front 2-0 in this game, and then the Sixers went on a 13-0 run and haven't been headed since. Milwaukee got as close as one. I take it back. They did take the lead by one in the first half, and then the Sixers, with a burst of their own, outscoring Milwaukee 19-6 in the last 5 minutes and 10 seconds of that second quarter at a healthy halftime advantage. Roberts miss, and here comes Green running. Hawk.
Take advantage of him, Hawk. You've got the big guy on you.
Gilliam turns and scores. Baseline, Gilliam post.
All right, the Sixers looking tough, trying to break the Bucks serve in the opener, leading 66-50. The Sixers with that 16-point lead in the third period. Now let's go back to Chicago Stadium. Ron Thulin and Jack Givens.
I will continue to give you bonus coverage throughout the night, updating our situation. Horace Grant just completed a three-point play as Patrick Ewing picked up his 5th personal foul, which forced him to take a seat on the bench. And Eddie Lee Wilkins, who's come in the New York lineup, 5th-year pro out of Gardner-Webb. Not a good night for Patrick Ewing. Kenny Walker will check into the lineup for New York momentarily as Wilkins shot. Looked like he shot it off his palm, and Oakley is whistled for the foul. Patrick Ewing.
As you say, Patrick picked up his 5th personal foul right there. Patrick very upset with the officials, picked up a technical as well. Don't be surprised if you don't see Patrick anymore in this game. If the Knicks don't make a run, John McLeod might just decide to leave him out. He hasn't been a factor in this game. Chicago has done a tremendous job of making sure that he gives the ball up when he has been able to catch it down low. He hasn't had it down there very often. And the rest of his teammates not making the shot when he gives it up.
Well, Grant misses the first as Oakley picks up his 5th personal foul also. But boy, how can you afford to take him out of the ball game, which they had to. Well, free throws, New York just 11 of 12. Chicago 26 of 31, a 19-point difference in free throws.
And that is not really an indication at all that the officiating in this game has gone one-sided. Don't think that. It's just been that Chicago has simply worked harder.
Eddie Lee Wilkins uses the left hand, and that should be an offensive foul, no basket. 30 seconds remaining in this third quarter, and it probably can't go fast enough for John McLeod. Think of it as the Jeopardy, final Jeopardy song. That's what's left. 21st turnover for New York. Jordan to Armstrong. Excellent passing by Chicago.
And Jordan is such a showman. I mean, it was nice that he kept control of the ball, but He didn't have to make such a good pass from on his seat that time.
Walker, his time runs out in the third quarter. Rebound controlled by Jordan. It has been 36 minutes of pleasure for Chicago, 36 minutes of misery for New York. But there are only 12 minutes left. The Knicks trail it 93-57. We'll be back. The Chicago Bulls are 55-6 when they lead at the end of 3 quarters of play, and that's the situation right now for Chicago as we're going back into action. But New York just has to try to get back into it because it's still a 5-game series.
Well, I think you're right, and you're talking about pride right now for the Knicks. They have to come back and try to close this game out on a positive note. You don't want to go back to the hotel tonight and think about all the negative things you did in this game. And of course, to this point, that is all the Knicks have to think about.
Well, now Michael Jordan will get a rest here in the 4th quarter. As we mentioned earlier, Chicago 41-5 when opponents are under 100 points. And Eddie Lee Wilkins this time doesn't get called for the foul, and he gets his first 2 of the ball game.
Eddie Lee has made a couple pretty good moves down there. He got one taken away from him, but came right back with the little jump hook that time.
Cliff Livingston dishes off to Hodges. What a pure shooter Cliff Hodges is.
Oh, good form on the jump shot. Excellent follow through and a confidence that is going to help him to make those kind of shots.
Jackson. Walker kicks it right into the hands of Craig Hodges, who had the passing lane cut off again. Here is Hodges. We saw him heated up in a game here against San Antonio where he hit about 3 3-pointers in a row, which brought them back from a 21-point deficit. He is quite the shooter as B.J. Armstrong now with 9 assists. Another turnover for the Knicks. Number 23. And Scottie Pippen with that big step is called for traveling. Scores from around the NBA tonight in the playoffs. Philadelphia by 18 at the Bradley Center. I'll tell you what, there aren't too many people would have thought that type of margin. Of course, San Antonio leading Golden State by 8 in the 3rd quarter, and we'll be going to that ball game near the conclusion of that contest as our bonus coverage on TNT continues tonight. And just a reminder, following our game with the Lakers in Houston, as we've got a whistle and a foul, Tucker goes down hard. Pippen helps him up as John Starks will come into the next lineup.
Pippen came over to help out. He's smiling just a little bit because he knows that he got Tucker that time, but not as much as Tucker made it look on that play. Kenny Walker having a hard time holding on to the basketball, and of course Walker not real comfortable shooting the 15 to 18-foot jump shot from the outside. He feels as though he has to put the ball on the floor and take it to the basket to try to create something. That just simply has not been there. Chicago defensively has been just about perfect tonight.
Tucker now with 4 points. He averages 7. Just 1 of 6 from the floor, but he's 2 of 2 from the line. And with 10:25 left in the ball game, the Bulls apparently on their way, almost obviously on their way to a 1-0 lead.
I think you can call it.
Yeah. Since the most New York has scored in a quarter has been 21 points. Livingston, good offensive rebound, and that is why they signed him to do exactly that.
Well, I'm glad he took the ball to the basket that time. I think he earned it with that effort. He has been playing very unselfishly in this game, not looking for his offense, but when you go up and you work that hard, you deserve the shot. Good to see him take it.
38-point lead, the largest of the game for Chicago. Oh! Craig Tucker gets away with a push off Livingston and follows it up. Cliff Livingston's nickname is Good News. Says he likes to hear good news all the time, and if you've ever met Cliff Livingston, you understand that man is always smiling. First steal by Jackson. Ball step goes out by B.J. Armstrong. Ball belongs to New York. 9:32 left to be played in our ball game. The Bulls lead at 99-63. Now let's go back to Ernie Johnson in Atlanta.
Thank you very much, Ron Thulin. Let's get you up to speed on that game in San Antonio, the Spurs and Warriors. And the Spurs have opened it up a little bit now. Willie Anderson's been the man tonight. He's got 21 points so far as they play in the 3rd period. That made it 59-53. Right now, the Spurs with a 12-point lead over Golden State as they play at Hemisphere 67-55. Now back to Chicago Stadium to Ron Thulin and Goose Gibbons.
Thank you, Ernie Johnson. Of course, we'll be keeping you updated on the scores. 9-18. Fouls on Stacey King as we're in Chicago Stadium before the 182nd sellout. King has picked up his third. Gerald Wilkins just finally gets on the board, Jack.
Well, he hasn't been a factor in this game. And, of course, at this time of the year, when you miss 3 weeks, you come back right today as his first game back. You know that offensively you're just not going to be able to do much. They want him to get some conditioning, though, so that he can be ready later on in this series.
Oh, what a move by Craig Hodges. You don't see him take it to the hole very often, but he does. And he has fouled. The foul on Wilkins.
When you make your first 2 or 3 or 4 shots from the outside, the defense is going to run at you, and that's usually going to create opportunities for you to take the ball to the basket. As you mentioned, Hodges doesn't do that very often. It's good, though, to see that he can do it when the defense forces him to go that way.
He is 26 of 27 this year from the free throw line. Oh, 26 of 28. 28 free throws only on a whole season. Shows you don't go to the paint very often. New York shooting guards, Jack. Tucker and Gerald Wilkins only 2 for 11, making 2 for 12 on the miss. But Eddie Lee Wilkins is there for the follow slam. So when your shooting guards 2 of 12, less than 20%, you're in trouble against a team like Chicago.
Yeah, you have to get better effort that way, because that is the one area that you want to take advantage of. If they're making the shots, that means they are making Michael Jordan work defensively, running him off screens, forcing him to play, use a lot of energy on the defensive end of the floor. With them shooting that way, Michael Jordan has been able to play just the way he likes to play, and that is to anticipate on defense, try to cheat to help out to get steals and create some easy, quick opportunities for himself or his teammates.
Scottie Pippen goes to the line. We saw Michael Jordan sitting on the bench, John Paxson on the bench, Horace Grant on the bench. Cartwright, 4 of the 5 starters are on the bench. And everybody talked about the fact how the Western Conference playoffs, everybody's going to be beating each other up. Chicago, on the other hand, tonight, a very easy game. Your starters aren't going to get a lot of minutes. In the long run, this has to help him. Michael Jordan said today, he says, hey, I feel the freshest I've ever felt at this point in the season because my minutes were cut down. What's this do now in the playoffs, Jack? That he's sitting here probably the whole 4th quarter.
Well, I think that's good. I think as long as he can sit there and his team win comfortably, not only is it good for Michael, but it's good for his teammates to know that they can, in fact, play and play well with him sitting over there on the bench.
Gerald, don't call me Dominique Wilkins, 8:25 left. It's the Knicks, their 69th point, but underneath is B.J. Armstrong. He has 11. Wilkins for the trade.
Well, that's what they need from Gerald right there. This is a confidence builder for Wilkins. He needs to make some shots just as he has done to get himself going.
PJ on the verge of a double-double, 11 points, 9 assists, no basket, with an even 8 minutes showing on the clock.
The Knicks personal foul, 21, Gerald Wilkins.
Just a reminder, Doug Collins and Pete Van Wieren are standing by at the Great Western Forum, and the Lakers set to take on the Houston Rockets.
A lot of people feel that Houston peaked just a little early. They played so well until the last 8 games or so of the season.
What a move by Hodges again.
Well, that is just no defense at all by the Knicks. I mean, you want to make sure that you don't give up those shots, and that's all we've seen in this game is that Chicago going to the basket, shooting them as much as they want to down low.
7.5 left. 107-72. I think the big suspense now is, can the Knicks reach 90? King's left-handed shot won't. Cliff Livingston hustles for the rebound, and he goes into the crowd hard. My goodness, he's a tough Wichita State kid. Let's see if he gets up.
Well, I think what happened is he went right into one of the girls that travel around alongside the court here getting drinks for the people sitting down there. Drinks went everywhere.
I'm sure, knowing Cliff Livingston the way I do, he will be glad to apologize after the game. In his own inimitable fashion. Pippen from outside. Way to be, News. And we've got a whistle and a foul. 7:09 left to be played in a ball game. Let's go to Ernie Johnson.
Thank you very much, Ron Thulin. Let's update what's going on at the Bradley Center here along with Rick Barry. Check out the work by Armand Gilliam on the offensive boards.
Well, you know, you win games by going inside. Here, Armand Gilliam misses a shot. Now watch the long rebound. He gets it up again. Nobody screens him off. Another move, couple of pump fakes, gets the man to join the paratrooper club, lays it in. He has 15 points, 74-60, Philly.
It is now 7. Even as we speak, they hit a J. 74-62. The Sixers with the lead. We go back to Chicago Stadium to Ron Thulin and Jack Givens, guys.
Thanks, Ernie and Rick. We'll be checking back with you a little bit later on. Stacey King has picked up his 4th personal foul. The Knicks with only 72 points. Their season low, 82. And there may be a question whether or not they can get that. Dennis Hobson will come in for Chicago. 2 shots from underneath. Gerard Mustaf is coming to the lineup for the Knicks. The rookie out of Maryland, just 21 years old. 17th overall pick in the recent draft. 6:44 left to be played. 107-72 is our score. Houston and the Lakers set to get underway in the Great Western Forum out in Los Angeles. What a series that should turn out to be. Doug Collins, Pete Van Weeren standing by to call all the action. And the playoff picture. How about this? The teams that win game 1 have won 47 of 56 first-round series. And you can tell the home court advantage. And boy, that'll play a big, big part here in Chicago. Dennis Hobson checked into Bulls lineup, number 2. Eddie Lee Wilkins shot won't go down. Rebound, Cliff Livingston. Hobson brought over from New Jersey back in June of 90. First-round draft pick out of Ohio State back in 87. 3rd overall pick. And when you talk about Dennis Hobson, a lot of people say the word disappointment. Stacey King is whistled for the line for the traveling call.
Well, I think you're right. They brought him over here to try to take away some of the minutes from Michael Jordan, not force Michael to have to play as many minutes. He has not played as many as he played last year, but it has not been because of Hobson. It's just been because of the advancement of all of his teammates.
Stacey King with the rebound, backcourt scoring. The Knicks only 20 points. Chicago 56. Oh, hammer job on B.J. Armstrong. Let's see if it's the flagrant foul. Phil Jackson up off the bench. I think he was. It is a flagrant foul. Gerard Mustafa's whistle for the flagrant foul. And this is the new rule, of course, this year in the NBA. Look at it again.
You know, this is the message the Knicks wanted to deliver early in this game, that you're not going to get anything easy going to the basket. Fortunately, B.J. Armstrong is up and seems to be okay. Gerard Mustaf comes in and gets him right across the upper body. He was just able to get a foot down before he hit the floor, and that helped him a lot.
Now, Gerard Mustaf, at the referee's discretion, if he felt that he was trying to hurt B.J. Armstrong or not really go for the ball, he could be thrown out of this ball game. But right now, Armstrong will get 2 shots, plus Chicago will get possession of the ball, and Mustaf will stay into the ball game. Obviously, the officiating crew felt he was going for the basketball.
Still, though,
a little giggling on the bench there. Michael Jordan protecting his hair.
That play right there, though, as I mentioned, the Knicks talked about that and talked about that in practice. Don't give up anything easy. The Knicks didn't get the message across to Chicago early, as Chicago has been in this game taking the ball to the basket anytime they want. John McLeod, I'm sure, not happy with the way things have turned out in this game.
He is such a fighter. He is one of the fine coaches in the NBA, and his fate will not be decided by Dave Checkett, Ernie Grunfeld and company until after the playoffs. Hodges comes up with a steal. He takes it all the way. How about Craig Hodges missing the layup, but B.J. Armstrong is there for the foul. The 2 shortest guys on the court lead the break, and they connect.
Well, the fundamentals usually work. Hodges did not put the ball on the backboard in that situation. Fortunately, they still got the basket.
Starks, great pass to Eddie Lee Wilkins, who is held by Cliff Livingston. And that'll be Livingston's first personal foul. Saw Michael Jordan on there, and the lack of hair as Scott Williams comes into the lineup, the only rookie in Chicago's lineup. Jackson will take a seat for New York. You're talking about Michael Jordan. One NBA player who will remain nameless said the only way you get Michael Jordan mad is talk about how he's bald. And they said that's the only way he can guard him. As we look at the other scores, Philadelphia, now the lead is down to 14 in the 4th quarter. San Antonio up by 15 over Golden State.
Well, you don't want to give Michael Jordan any more incentive to play. So if you're going to play him, you'd be smart not to bring that subject up.
Interesting way to do it. Gerald Wilkins with the steal. Hodges can't come up with it. Eddie Lee's got Cornette on the right. He holds it up. Stop walking.
Stop forgot to put the dribble down.
You knew there was something he forgot. Couldn't quite put his finger on it. 110-73, 5:05. 25 turnovers now for the Knicks. Williams with the miss. King with the left-handed foul. Former Oklahoma Sooner finally gets in the board. 112-73.
Stacey King, that is the way he can help this team. That is working the offensive boards and getting the putbacks. They are not going to go to him very often in the first phase of their offense. He has to find the baskets, and that's the way to do it.
Wilkins has a strip. Listoff inside with the slam. His first two of the ball game. Only 75 points scored by the Knicks. The most they've had in a quarter is 21. They have 18 in this quarter already. Stacey King, who is quite the offensive force at Oklahoma, of course, was the all-time leading shot blocker in the Big 8 Conference. Big things were expected of him, but he really hasn't done what people thought he would. But he, like you said, he has to realize his role on this ball club.
I think that is the key for him, no question about it. I think teams also understand that if you take away his ability to go left, you take away a lot of what he can do offensively. He has to come in the summer and to work at finding some more offense.
Looks like he jumped off the wrong foot. Wilkins, the big step, a la his brother, but he doesn't get the shot to go down. And a loose ball foul. 3:23 left to be played in this one. Of course, we've got another game coming up for you in Los Angeles, and Pete Van Weeren and Doug Collins are standing by now. Gentlemen.
Thank you, Ron. We're here at the Great Western Forum, which will be sold out tonight for what many expect to be the best of the opening series in this year's NBA playoffs. And we've got the Houston Rockets and the LA Lakers. These two teams, Doug, combined for 110 wins this year, more than any other pairing in this first round. Should be a great series.
Well, you know, I look for the great play of the Houston guards to try to carry them through this series. It can be erratic, they can be unpredictable, but they can also be super. It's going to be which Houston team will show up against a tremendous Laker experience they've had with Magic Johnson and Worthy and Byron Scott, AC Green, the team they've had here for so long.
And a little bit of a difference in the Lakers this year. They've become a very defensive-oriented club, giving up less than 100 points a game, one of only two teams in the NBA to do that. We'll have it for you live. Right now, back to Ron Thulin and Jack Gibbons in Chicago.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Scott Williams hit one of two free throws. 115-75 is our score. And the clock continues to run, and that's really the only thing in this part of the game for New York that is. Scott Williams, not exactly Curly Neal. Hodges.
Well, they have been open this entire game, just simply beating the Knicks down the floor offensively. Then when the Knicks have the basketball, they've taken them completely out of what they want to do with the good aggressive defense.
16 points for Hodges, who is guarding Gerald Wilkins, and that's almost a mismatch. Wilkins takes it inside, but he doesn't get it to fall. Thompson will bring it out of the back. We mentioned 16 for Hodges. His season high is 20. We've got a timeout on the court. 2-2-2 remaining to be played in the ball game. The Bulls lead at 118-75 as they look to go up 1-0 in the series with the Knicks. In the paint. How about points in the paint owned by Chicago? Patrick Ewing, not a very productive night for the All-Stars. 6 points, 5 fouls, and he has spent most of the time on the pine, and he was quite frustrated. Talk about not being frustrated. How about Craig Hodges?
Well, Hodges has been able to spot up behind the three-point line. He's also done an excellent job of taking the ball to the basket. It's been an offensive clinic for the Bulls and a good execution, good exhibit of how to execute in the open floor and take advantage of your fast break opportunities. I think you're right, though. Patrick Ewing very frustrated in this game. But once again, you have to point directly to Chicago and understand what they have done to him. They have forced him out on the floor. Cartwright doing a good job, further than he likes to be. And when he has been able to catch the ball down low, they have done an excellent job of running 2 and sometimes 3 players at him down there to force him to give the ball up.
B.J. Armstrong will go to the line to shoot 2. This is a young man who says he wants to be a world political leader. He's really interested in politics, and he gets the first. An exceptional young man. For the game, New York shooting only 39%. That is why John McLeod has that look, along with some shaky defense. Chicago 52%. And of course, the Bulls 40-2 when they shoot, plus 50%.
I'm looking at McLeod over there, and I can tell by the expression on his face, he's wondering, how do we come back from this? What do I tell the guys in the locker room after the game, and how do I get them more prepared for the game Sunday afternoon?
He's already thinking about Sunday. There's no question. This one is in the history books. Wilkins from outside, nothing but the bottom of the net. Only 2 Knicks in double figures. Vandaway with 19, Oakley with 12.
2 minutes to play the ball game.
2 minutes left, and it won't come soon enough for the Knicks. Williams getting a little PT, and he gets his first field goal of the ball game. Every Chicago Bull has scored except for Dennis Hobson.
Williams, when he catches it down there, he's doing just what he should do, and that is put the ball up towards the rim. He knows he's not going to get many opportunities, so you might as well take advantage of it.
Eddie Lee inside, and Eddie Lee now with 7.
See if they go to Hobson right here to try to get him in the scorebook.
Wild shot. Wilkins comes down with a rebound. And Bryant Quinnett with the easy jam.
Now the crowd wanted to travel, but there's no way the officials are going to blow the whistle on that play. If it's close, they're going to let it go.
B.J. Armstrong adds to his total. He now has 18, 1 away from his season high. He has a double-double with 10 assists. About in the fourth quarter, Philadelphia by 7. Golden State still trailing San Antonio handily. 124-83. The Knicks won't have their lowest point total. Hobson, he's in the books.
The crowd wanted him to score. That's the first time he has squared up and taken a good shot.
Starks with the monster slam, but quite frankly, Williams just backed off and let him go.
A smart play by Scott Williams. You just allow him to have that shot.
You got a foul. Lakers and Houston's next with Pete Van Leeuwen. Of course, we'll keep you updated on the San Antonio Golden State score. Mark Jackson, Patrick Ewing, Kenny Walker.
Bryant Quinnett is really holding on to his knee. That looks kind of serious. He's been able to go, but he's pushing on the sides, and a lot of times that means it might be kind of serious.
Hobson only a 66% shooter from the charity stripe. Now the Bulls, although this is a blowout, it's all well and good. They won handily. Everybody's joking. But now they've got to get mentally prepared again for Sunday, just like the Knicks, because it may not be that easy on Sunday. So they also have to get their game face on. This one's wrapping up in Chicago Stadium to the delight of 16,000 plus. 10 games left in the road to the NBA Finals for Chicago. 10 victories left. A lot of playoff action on TNT. 8 games, 7 now in the next 4 days. Jack and I will be heading down to Phoenix for Phoenix and Utah as time runs out here, and that'll be coming your way on Saturday night. B.J. Armstrong will finish the game with 18 points. Michael Jordan with 28, and that about does it, ladies and gentlemen. It was a blowout from the second quarter on, and what a blowout indeed. The final, 126-85. Michael Jordan leads the way for the Bulls. 28 points, sat out the entire fourth quarter. Scottie Pippen, 25 points. He also played sparingly in the second half. 12 points for Grant, 18 points for B.J. Armstrong. Craig Hodges with 16 points. Patrick Ewing, of course, getting in foul trouble early on. He finished the game with only 6 points. They were hoping for a big game from him, but it wasn't enough. As Chicago wins it once again, the final 126-85. And We're joined now by Scottie Pippen. Scottie, it was a great game for you, for Michael Jordan. You had a chance to rest, but how good is it now? Because mentally, you had the blowout. You've got to get up for Sunday's game.
Well, I think it was a big win for us tonight. We got ourselves up like we wanted to, and we played real well. That's something that we were sort of afraid of coming into the game tonight. And I thought we did a good job after having a long layoff this week. And I thought everybody got opportunity to get into the game and did a good job.
Scottie, defensively, it was obvious to me that you guys wanted to make sure that Patrick Ewing didn't get going down low. The double teams down there forced Ewing to give it up. I thought defensively this was about as good a game as I've seen all season.
Well, yeah, I thought we did a great job on Patrick. He definitely didn't know what we was doing tonight defensively. I thought we did a good job of coming at him at times, and then sometimes we sort of letting him go and let Bill defend him. I thought Bill did a great job, as they always do.
Well, Scottie, 14 points in the second quarter, 25 for the game. Best of luck. Another victory, another step toward the NBA Finals. Scottie Pippen of the Chicago Bulls. 126-85 is our final. Ernie Johnson will be back in our studios in Atlanta after this.